lymphoid tissue. But basically, everything that starts in the body, and most disease processes start from the gut and go inwards and then spread outwards. So the most important thing you can do is try to repair the gut in any animal with chronic disease, particularly these types of diseases, which all link back to inappropriate immune function.
Bruce, what was the glutamine you were giving?
Glutamine, yeah.
What was the theory behind that?
That's just based on the human principles of treating IBD. So basically it stimulates repair. Glutamine is one of the key ingredients in the mucosal cells. So it basically helps the mucosa of the gut to repair. Aloe has a similar principle on healing, it's an angry gut there with IBD. So it's about settling the lining and repopulating the gut with good bacteria, getting that balance right.
And what dose do you give of that?
I extrapolate. Use a human product. There's one called Nutrition, a company called Nutrition Care. They make one called Gut Relief. It's got a few other things, but the two main ingredients are glutamine and aloe. I just extrapolate from the human dose down to whichever side patient that I use. Throw in the enteroline, throw in Dr. Bruce's great special raw diet, and bingo, happy clients. Again, anal-gland impaction, as we've touched on a few times, something that you can create or decreate very easily by just adding good roughage. One of the ingredients in our diet that I use is whole grain oats. Now, purely because they will go in one end and come out the other, but they're a cheap, easy stool bulking agent, and you'll see them. People say, "Oh, my dog's not digesting your food. I can see all these grains in its poo." Like, good. That's what they're meant to be there for. Bulking up the feces, emptying the anal glands. Birds come down and clean up the poo. You don't have to worry about picking it up. Really simple system. I've already touched on feline urinary tract disease and blockage, something that you can basically eliminate. Struvite crystals, because of the pH of the urine, you basically dissolve them by acidifying the urine using fresh meat. Obesity, really simple. Again, raw food speeds up the metabolism, probably helps correct the thyroid in the background, which also does that. Feed them a low-fat meat source, and again, rule of thumb, if you're feeding a large dog, you're best to feed them in the morning, not at night. Most people feed their dogs at night at the same time as they have their main meal. But when you do that, basically what happens to us, if we go to bed on a huge meal, the body says, but I need all this energy and fuel, I'll store it as fat. You eat a big meal in the morning, as you metabolise it during the day, your body will burn the fat as it comes through in the bloodstream because it's the preferred source of fuel. So you can cheat the system just by changing the feeding time and have a pretty good impact on big cats like that. Again, I will say boldly, I think diabetes is man-made in cats and dogs. I don't think it naturally occurs in the wild. And I think it's because we put carbohydrate in pet foods at ridiculous levels. One of the hardest things for most people to appreciate is how much carbohydrate is in the pet food. And why is that? Because it's not written on the pack. Anyone ever seen a pack of dog or cat food where it declares carbohydrate content? You've got to work it out for yourself.
Fat and protein.
Fat, protein, ash, water or moisture, and fibre. So you add all of them up, you take 100 minus that, and there's your carbohydrate level. And when it starts adding up to 50 and 55%, you should be extremely alarmed at what you're feeding your animals, because, as I said, they're carnivores, not carnivores. They don't need that level of starch. They're not designed to handle it, and as a result, it changes the pH of their body, and you get chronic disease as a result. So, I mean, there's a really good sort of simple understanding. And diabetes, as I said, is a disease of overconsumption of carbohydrate and sugar. End of story. If you don't feed it to them, they don't get it. It's not rocket science. Autoimmune diseases. The reason I popped that one up is that autoimmune diseases have always presented a massive challenge to me, mainly because conventional medicine says fill them up with cortisone. It's the only thing that's going to save them. And I still use a bit of cortisone if I'm concerned that the animal's going to die. But what I have found again, change their diet, and believe it or not, autoimmune diseases will go away. There's a trigger. What's interesting is that a lot of the information coming out now suggests that a lot of these autoimmune diseases actually link back to probiotic levels in the gut. And there are specific probiotics you can feed that help to shut down autoimmune antibody production, which is quite exciting. And Metagenics make one that's called Ultraflora Immune.
Yep, it's awesome.
You know the one?
Yep, I know the one.
So straight away, autoimmune disease, get onto that particular one. I mean, probiotics to me is one of the most interesting and exciting areas of science, because I reckon in 20 years' time, you go to your doctor, you won't get an antibiotic, you'll get a probiotic, specific for the disease that you have, because what we're learning about them, the fact that your food cravings, as we touched on earlier, often these food cravings are dictated to by the balance of probiotics in your gut. If you eat a high carbohydrate diet, the probiotics that thrive on carbohydrate will build up in a large number. What do they want to eat? carbohydrate. So they send chemical messages to your brain that actually change the way you actually crave foods. So people who crave sugar very often have candida overgrowth because candida thrives on sugar. So as I said, there's a lot of science to be learned, and I don't claim to know any of it, but I find it a particularly exciting field purely because when I put animals on probiotics, so many fantastic things happen. You know, I can basically manage allergies almost with probiotics alone.